News Talk 94.5 WPTI, 96.7 FM WTOB. You're listening to the Wealth Guardian Show with Doug Ray, helping you to retire that job, but keep your paycheck. I'm your host, Doug Ray, but this morning, Brice Payne is not with me. It's my son, Garrett Ray. Brice is on his honeymoon. I think he's supposed to get back today, isn't he?
No, he's got a whole nother week.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. They're in Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, he's been sending us some pictures of Pearl Harbor, Missouri, and the Bowfin. And
He has. Yeah.
Hey, before we get into the show, I haven't asked you this in a while. How's your fantasy football team coming?
We are like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So we were brutal to start the year, but on the up and up. Got a chance to make the playoffs here if I can hold strong the next couple of weeks. So doing all right.
Yeah, one of the fun things about Garrett and his fantasy football buddies, there are a lot of buddies from high school, and the loser of the season, they make dress up in a dress.
Oh yeah, of the league's choosing. So yeah,
yeah.
Times.
Garrett's worn the dress before,
unfortunately so.
All right, so last couple weeks we've had our last workshops of the year. We invite Hamilton Morales in.
Yeah,
to talk Social Security, and Hamilton is a national Social Security trainer. He nationally trains advisors like Garrett and myself, and he's an excellent speaker. And the last two workshops, he just knocked it out of the park. We had a lot of good questions from the audience. They really were engaged in his talk. One of the, I think, most important topics or questions, I should say, that came up is what kind of changes to Social Security do you envision? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Garrett, I think with this new administration coming in, I think this question's finally going to get tackled.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the elephant in the room that nobody really wants to look at or talk about. We all know in our heart of hearts that something needs to change based on the math that we're seeing regarding the program. And interestingly enough, regarding this, Congressman Brendan Boyle, he recently asked the Congressional Budget Office, hey, what can we do about this Social Security problem? And the specific question that he asked was, what impact would it have on citizens and retirees if we increased the age from 67 to 69, which is the age that workers would become eligible for full retirement benefits? For those of you who are familiar with Social Security, your FRA, or full retirement age. And it'll be interesting to kind of, as we go through the program here, Doug, kind of dive into some of those possibilities of changes to Social Security that the Congressional Budget Office came back with. So.
Yeah, everybody's concerned about the Social Security and when to take it. And what would happen to them if the full retirement age is changed? And right now they're talking about 67 to 69.
Yep.
But it's not going to affect everybody. It's going to affect an age group born between 70.
Yeah, they basically looking to kind of do it under a gradual sense. So it looks like under the proposal of this Brendan Boyle, this Congressman Brendan Boyle, workers born in 1965 or later would see their FRA rise incrementally. So basically, if you were born in 1972 or later, then your full retirement age would become 69, not 67 as it is today. Let's reset kind of where we are today. Today, for anyone who was born after 1960, your full retirement age is 67. So there's a few of you out there who may be born earlier than 1960, and then you've got kind of a graduated scale. Well, all we're talking about here is essentially doing a new graduated scale, because essentially we're having to rework this program for a new generation of retirees. So, under this report, it looks like they are proposing that workers born in 1972 or later would have a full retirement age of 69. So what's the impact? That means that the younger generation have longer work lives until you get that full retirement age benefit. So.
Well, remember when the Social Security first came into being in 1935, 65 was the full retirement age then, but the life expectancy was only 62.
Right.
Well, life expectancy is far greater now than then. Garrett, I really think some form of this full retirement age change is going to happen.
Yeah, it's got to happen. I mean, like you said, when it first came into being, it was never meant to be a multi-decade retirement tool. Mm-hmm. It was meant to be some basic assistance in the very final years of one's life. And now it has morphed over the years into essentially a secondary income stream for people's retirement for multiple decades. And that was not the original intent.
No, it was not. And some of the impacts of this proposal is that if you claim early, it's going to dramatically reduce your benefit. It's going to go, for example, if you claim at 62, you're going to lose 40% of your benefit. Now it's 30% versus full retirement age. So that's a big impact.
Yeah, and it is, and it basically is. Here's, I guess I look at that in two different lenses, Doug. On the one hand, does that sting for those that it impacts? Sure, it does. The way that I also look at it too is that you've got several decades to prepare for it as well. Mm-hmm. If you're out there listening today, and you are age 60 years old, this is not impacting you. So let's not be concerned about that. But for those of you who might be listening in your mid 40s or you're in your late 30s, yeah, this could definitely impact you if what this Congressman Brendan Boyle and his report from the Congressional Budget Office were actually to go forward. Again, Doug and I this morning are talking about possible changes to Social Security in the future and how we can make it more solvent. If we're looking at the math, we know that when we get into whether it's 2033 or 2034, the numbers always kind of fluctuate a little bit. That at that point, we run out of funds in the trust for Social Security, and the only revenue coming in is off of current payroll taxes that current workers are paying in, which is a situation that you don't want to be in.
Exactly. Well, let me add, if this is a concern of yours, if retirement's a concern of yours, what we do is invite you to come and sit down and chat with us and let us go through our complete retirement planning process, which does include Social Security. It's a thorough process. It's a 4-meeting process. And just about every client that's gone through it has told us it's the most thorough planning process they've ever done. And it's free. We don't charge a penny for this. And, some advisors charge as much as $5,000 for what we do for you for free. So take us up on that advantage.
Yeah, Doug, it's a great offer. And the one thing that I'll definitely add to the listeners out there is that, a full Social Security filing strategy is part of the analysis that we do.
Mm-hmm. So call us at 336-391-3409 and reserve your place in line. One other thing I'm going to add about changes to Social Security, this was brought up in the workshops. So somebody asked this question to Hamilton. Right now, there's a cap on your payroll tax for Social Security.
That's true.
It's not for Medicare, okay? They're going to tax your Medicare if you make $1 million a year, but I think the cap on Social Security is what, 160-some thousand?
Yeah, I think it was 166,000 if you're married jointly, and it's slightly less. I think it's like 134,000 if you're single.
So raising that cap or eliminating the cap, I think, is something that they'll do.
Yeah, it makes sense. And basically that just means that for those high income earners, both, single folks and couples, then it means that all of the income that they're earning will be subject to those payroll taxes, which of course help fund the Social Security program. Whereas today they've got, that first 166,000 is taxed, but anything above that, let's say you've got an executive who makes $300,000 a year, only his first $100,000 is going into payroll tax.
The other thing I want to emphasize is you're not going to lose your Social Security.
No.
Regardless of what age you are. And I hate election cycles because they always go into that. You vote for somebody, they're going to eliminate your Social Security. No, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen because, whoever does that is essentially committing political suicide. You'd have an entire generation of folks pretty angry at that particular politician, whoever he or she puts his or her name on that bill. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But again, we're talking about just different proposals and changes. This is nothing set in stone. So if you're just tuning in, don't worry too much out there. We're just talking about proposals to Social Security changes.
Well, we're getting close to the end of the segment here.
We are, yep. So this is Garrett Ray, and with me is Doug Ray. The show is The Wealth Guardians, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. And this is News 94.5 WPTI. And this is 96.7 FM WTOB. News Talk 94.5 WPTI. 96.7 FM WTOB. Welcome back to the Wealth Guardians radio show, where we help you retire the job and keep the paycheck. I'm Garrett Ray in the Wealth Guardians studio, along with Doug Ray, and in this segment, we're going to continue to discuss that possible Social Security shakeup of raising the full retirement age from age 67 to 69. Now, before we get into that, I've got a question for the listeners out there. Are you planning to retire in the next 7 to 10 years? Have you met with a retirement income certified professional who's also a fiduciary? If not, I want to invite you to take us up on a complimentary review of your current situation. As certified retirement planning specialists, we'll put together a customized written plan with strategies for portfolio allocation, income distribution, Social Security filing, and tax efficiency, with the additional benefit of often reducing both the risk of your portfolio and the fees of your current plan. So if you've put aside at least $400,000 and you want to take us up on this no-cost, no-obligation review, call us at 336-391-3409 or go to our website, thewealthguardians.com. That's thewealthguardians.com to learn more. Let us show you in black and white how to retire the job and keep the paycheck. Alrighty, Doug. Well, I realized that we missed our trivia question in the first segment. Now, I'm not going to let you get off the hook.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to wind it back, and I'm going to ask you the trivia question. So, Doug, we're very big fans of history here. And I was thinking about, in our great state of North Carolina, the current capital of this state is the city of Raleigh.
Right.
That was not always the case, though.
That's correct.
So the question for you, Doug, is, can you go back to the American Revolutionary time, and what was the first capital of North Carolina? What do you think?
New Bern, North Carolina.
He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. And
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Back when I was in the 8th grade, I think it was the 8th grade, all of us had to put together this big old compilation of North Carolina history.
Yeah.
And turn it in. And it was a fun project. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so 8th grade was definitely my education in North Carolina history as well. I loved North Carolina history, but he nailed it. So that's right, folks. So yeah, New Bern, North Carolina was the official capital of actually back then it was really a colony and revolution. Wasn't technically a state just yet. But Tryon Palace served as the state capital, and that was started in 1770. It was not until 1792 that the capital officially moved to Raleigh, and the reason for moving it was geographic reasons. So they wanted to get the capital off the coast. They thought that by moving the capital back inland would protect the capital and the affairs there from possible continued British attack. So
one other tidbit is that at one point, for a short period of time, Tennessee was part of North Carolina.
No, that's right. That's right. If you extended past through the Appalachians. Yep, and just followed that parallel. You're absolutely right. All righty, Doug. Well, let's get back into the topic at hand. And what we're talking about here is a possible Social Security shakeup. Again, I want to emphasize possible, but there is a Congressional Budget Office report that's discussing this. Congressman Brendan Boyle led the discussion. And what he asked the Congressional Budget Office to do is to basically provide a report of the economic impacts if Congress raised the full retirement age from age 67 to 69. So let's level set here. What are the laws currently in the books, or what's the program currently look like? For those of you that are born in 1960 or later, technically your full retirement age under Social Security is age 67, but there is discussions on raising that full retirement age where you are eligible for full benefits to age 69. So going from 67 to 69. And Doug, one of the things it talks about here is if they were to go through some of these changes and raise that full retirement age, there could be different effects across different income levels of workers and different demographics. So what the concern may be is a reduction in lifetime benefits. Are they going to be smaller or larger between different income levels of people? Those in our lower and middle class versus our high income earners. What about differences between gender? All that stuff.
Yeah. If you look at it from this standpoint, we have to talk about the delayed credits. What are the delayed credits? Well, the delayed credits is basically the longer you wait to take your benefit, the more you're going to get. So from age 62 to full retirement age, currently 67, for those of you born after 60, you're getting about a 7% delayed credit. Once you hit full retirement age, from there till 70, it goes to 8%. So if they do change the full retirement age to 69 and they don't change the delayed credits, you're going to lose about 2 or 3% of compounding on your benefit. So over a lifetime, yes, it's going to reduce your lifetime benefits.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if they're going to raising the full retirement age from 67 to 69. At least under the current structure, they keep credits running until age 70. Would they keep the cap at 70? So basically, in effect, you would only get 1 year of that 8% credit from 69 to 70. I'm not quite sure there, but that's something that's a good point that you raised.
Well, only time will tell for sure.
Yeah.
But my guess is they probably won't increase past 70 the delayed credits.
Yeah,
because that'll harm the system. It won't put a savings factor into the system itself. But I do think, as we talked about in the first segment, they'll increase the payroll tax beyond what it is now, and I think they're going to probably increase the full retirement age too.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you bring up the raising the payroll tax beyond the current cap that it is about $166,000. What this report is showing is that if all they did was raise the full retirement age from age 67 to 69, then it's going to improve the Social Security Trust's financial situation for sure. But it's only going to reduce the 75-year actuarial deficit by about 24% if all they do is just kind of mess with the ages here. So it's going to have to be a combination of more than just, raising from 67 to 69. I agree with you, Doug. I think they're going to have to remove that cap on the payroll tax for those high income earners.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one of the things people worry about is, and I don't think they'll do this, is a means test. If you've regardless if you make Bill Gates kind of money or not, you're still contributing into the system. And to put a means test on it means that money essentially was nothing more than a tax,
right?
An income tax, not a savings plan.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Doug, we're kind of getting into the final 3 to 4 minutes here, and we've kind of laid out some of the proposals that Congress is mulling over. Now we kind of get into the more opinion side of the show. What pros and cons do you see by possibly moving this age from 67 to 69? What's your kind of take?
Well, obvious pro is you're helping to shore up the system.
Yeah,
so that people can keep their benefits. The negative, I guess, as we just discussed, losing a little bit of your lifetime potential benefit because of the delayed credits.
Yeah, the way that I look at it as, kind of a younger American, as I approach age 40, is that, I think that this is a system that, it's been around for so long, people have paid into it, and many people have spent their entire working lives paying into it. We have to do something to make right by those people that have spent their entire working careers and keep the system and the program solvent.
Absolutely.
And so if that requires the younger generations to, kind of take the burden of, a few more years of waiting until that full retirement age, I think it makes sense, particularly when you view it in the lens and the context of, medical science is getting better and better. People are healthier and living longer than they were in 2 or 3 generations ago. So it makes sense that we adjust that kind of gate, if you will, of when someone reaches that full retirement age, because things have changed so much from, 20, 30 years ago when they last reviewed these.
Exactly. And I think the other thing we need to address is who is going to be subject to this and who is safe from the full retirement age change. And I think, looking back at different studies that I have done over the years, I think what they'll do is they'll say, if you're 55 and older, you're going to be exempt from the full retirement age increase. If you're younger than that, then you're going to be subject to it. The logic behind it is if you're 55 and under, you have more time to prepare.
Yeah.
You'll be able to add to your 401k or your IRA or Roth or whatever and get ready for a change in Social Security.
Yeah. And the way I look at it too is, if you're in that kind of preparation phase, if these changes do come about, is that, you do get the catch up when you hit age 50. And so if they kind of cut it off right there at age 55, those in the younger kind of band of that catch-up age of age 50 can have a longer runway to contribute more into their 401ks, their IRAs. Those on the latter end of the band would get, understandably, no changes to Social Security because they've already put in the majority of their catch-up years in their prep already.
Yeah, so. For sure. I tell you, my son, I think you're going to see your full retirement age higher.
I don't know, man. I might be like an age 72 guy. We'll see. So, yeah, this is obviously something that I think that, if you are paying attention and you're, I would say a proud American and you believe in our systems, I think you have to keep abreast of the changes that Social Security understandably needs to go through. Again, Doug and I just explored one possible report from Congressman Brendan Boyle going through the what if scenario. What if we change that full retirement age from age 67 to 69? And what would the impact be? But I got to tell you, Doug, it does look like we're running out of time here. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this week. Thank you for joining us. We hope the rest of your weekend is everything you want it to be. This is Garrett Ray, along with Doug Ray. The show is The Wealth Guardians, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. And remember, listeners, sound financial plans do not create themselves. And this is News Talk 94.5 WPTI. And this is 96.7 FM WTOB.